Hi guys, welcome and thank you for joining me today. What kind of people do you find typically coagulate around you? What kind of situations and environments do you typically find yourself in? All of these things can be traced to the kinds of tools that you have, the kinds of tools that you have that might be broken, and the kinds of tools that you don't have that maybe you didn't know you needed or you just haven't been able to acquire yet or learn yet. And throughout these videos, I've shared different things with you, different tools with you that maybe I didn't know I needed, maybe I didn't know I was missing, or some that were broken. So today we're going to talk about how to create an environment around you. And I'm going to start off by saying that Proverbs 18:21 states that the power of life and death are in the tongue. So first and foremost, the things that create the environment around us are our words. Just plain and simple. Our words have an impact. There's a song by the band Viridia called Disconnected. And in this song, they talk about being disconnected and how we should be building bridges instead of burning them down. They talk about our words being ammunition. And this is so true for most of us that it shapes what we experience in life. It shapes the kind of people that tend to be around us or that we tend towards. And it shapes everything from a physical environment to a mental, emotional environment. And it all comes down to the tools. Just like, let's say I wanted to cut this tree down, and the tool I had, let's say it was a plastic teaspoon, a little plastic measuring teaspoon, and I had to cut this tree down. Well, that tool is not going to get me very far. How many of you know that plastic teaspoon is going to wear out well before I get anywhere close to cutting this tree down? Now let's say I have a pocket knife. Well, it's a better tool. It's a very small tool compared to this tree. That pocket knife is going to get me a lot further, and I very well may be able to cut the tree down. Now let's say I've got a chainsaw. Well, the chainsaw is going to do a nice job. It's going to cut through it quick, as long as I've sharpened the blade, as long as I have plenty of gas. So that's a good tool to have. But now let's go even a little bit bigger and say I've got an excavator with a dangle saw on it. Now a dangle saw is a saw that's hydraulically driven, and it can clamp onto the tree, and it's got a bigger chainsaw than a handheld chainsaw. And that apparatus, that tool, is going to cut this tree down way quicker than a normal chainsaw. It's going to allow me to also handle and maneuver the tree once it's down. And if I've got the right type of dangle saw, it will allow me to delimit, without even letting go of it. It'll clamp it, cut it, delimit, and then I can even use it to cut it into sections. Say I need 10-foot sections of the tree. That one tool can do all that. So the different tools determine what I can do with the tree, how quickly I can do it in, and how nice of a job I can do. Just like cutting this tree down and turning it into lumber or log sections. Those tools to do that, the tools are similar for relationships. So if I've got a little plastic teaspoon, it's gonna not get me very far. If I've got a pocket knife, that's gonna get me quite a bit further, but it's gonna be slow. If I've got a chainsaw, well, I'm really making some headway now. But now if I've got a excavator with a dangle saw, watch out. I'm a relationship master at that point. Proverbs 14:1 states that a wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. Now, I'm not singling out women, but that's just the verse. And I think that we can imply into that any person, whether they're male or female, any person can build up their relationships with their words. And likewise, any person can tear down their relationship. So today, I'm going to talk about, the tools that we have create the environment we're in. The tools that I have create the relationships, and to a degree, the relationship value that I have. So if I've got a toolbox full of good working tools, I'm going to make some good headway on having whole, healthy, comforting relationships. But if my tools are, untaken care of, if they're greasy, if they're broken, if they're, say, the ratchet's missing teeth on the gear, I'm not going to get very far. Most likely I'm going to end up frustrated. So if I want to create a good, wholesome, healthy environment, I have to have good tools. And I have to have a full toolbox. But if I've got broken tools, if I've got missing tools, if I've got a toolbox that might be missing a whole drawer, I'm not going to be able to create very good relationships. So if I'm finding myself around negative people, if I'm finding myself around people that really kind of rub me the wrong way, chances are I'm missing a tool or I've got a broken tool that I'm using in relationships. And it's up to me to identify, okay, what is wrong here? What tool am I using that's broken? Or what tool do I need that I'm missing? And if I'm finding myself around whole, healthy people, chances are I'm already doing well on keeping my tools well maintained, and I probably don't have tools missing. But at the same time, I could upgrade from that chainsaw, I could upgrade to a dangle saw, and I could just be that much better in my relationships. And I could have that much more peace and comfort that I can not only experience myself, but that I can share to others. So if I've got an environment around me that has a lot of anger, has a lot of strife, has a lot of insecurity, chances are I've got tools of control, manipulation. I probably use anger as a tool, and I probably use confusion, and I probably use blaming and accusing quite a bit. All those tools are broken tools. You might look at it as dark versus light. You got the dark side and you got the light side. I'm not trying to make a reference to Star Wars here. But it really is a good reference. You got the dark side of the Force and the light side of the Force. So you got the dark side of the tools and the light side of the tools. The dark side of the tools, like I mentioned, they're stuff like, okay, you did this, now I'm going to get angry at you and try to control you to do something that brings me comfort, that makes me happy, that influences you in a way that I think I can control you to bring me something I need. But on the other hand, even if my current environment is negative, I can start reshaping my tools. I can start changing my tools from the dark side over to the light side. And I can start bringing a little bit of vulnerability. I can start bringing a little bit of peace. I can start bringing a little bit of, unconditional love, acceptance, and respect. I can start bringing those things to the table. And when I start bringing those things into the table, or into the relationship rather, I can start shaping that relationship, one interaction at a time, into something positive. Now, I fully understand, and I don't want to go without saying that every relationship takes two people. So I might be working on myself and becoming healthier and healthier, but the other person might not be moving at all. They might not be accepting of my healthier interactions. In fact, they might go the opposite direction. They might get darker. So as much as it depends on me, I can influence a relationship to become more comforting and more peaceful with good tools. But at the same time, the other person or people in the relationship, they still have a choice as to what tools they're going to use. But at the same time, I can also, if I have the inroad to do it, if the other person is coming up to me and saying, wow, you've changed. And I don't know what you're doing, but it seems like you're bringing more peace into this relationship. Tell me about how you're doing that. If they're coming to me with anything like that, any acceptance for what I'm doing and any curiosity, that's my inroad where I get to explain, how I've either repaired my tools, replaced my tools, or went out and bought some new tools so that I have a fully stocked toolbox. And this is a learning experience that lasts a lifetime. I'm on a journey, like I keep saying. I'm learning more and more. I'm putting these tools into more and more practice. And oftentimes, it's kind of like say a wooden handle to a hammer. You know, the wooden handle, I could go out and I could pick up a stick off the forest floor, and that stick is going to work great for a hammer handle. But the more I use it, the more I need to refine it. Because let's say that stick has a knot in it, and every time I swing the hammer, well, that knot puts a blister on my hand. So what do? Well, I take another one of my tools and I start whittling down that knot. I start refining that tool that I have. And the more I use it, I find out, oh, it's kind of big in this part of the handle. Let me skinny that up a little bit. Then it fits in my hand better. And I'm able to get a better swing. I'm able to get a better stroke with the hammer. And the more I refine that hammer handle, the more effective it becomes. So this is something that I intend to keep doing over the whole span of my life. I intend to take where I'm at right now and keep improving, keep moving forward, keep finding out what tools I'm missing and keep refining the ones I have. My intention is to keep changing out the dark side tools over to light side tools. Replace that anger with acceptance. Replace that control and manipulation with love and vulnerability and freedom and self-control. So like I said, it all comes down to what tools you have creates the environment you're in. And for lack of a better way of saying it, you are where you are because it's where you are. And I'm not going to explain that, just like it was expressed to me that way. I'm going to leave it out there for you guys to wrestle with, figure out what it means. But you are where you are because it's where you are. I know that's a lot of R's, but you'll figure it out. So thanks again for joining me today. There's going to be a few questions to follow, and take some time and also think about the questions, but also think about the tools that you currently have. Dig deep into your toolbox. See what tools you might have that might be really good tools that just need a little more refining. See what tools need to be, chucked in the garbage and replaced. And see what tools you have a spot in your toolbox for, but you might be missing. Just start digging into this. Start going after relational health and freedom. Start going after this, and you'll see that the environment you're in is going to change. The environments that you find yourself in on a consistent basis, if you will continue to strive for tools of excellence, tools of acceptance, and tools of vulnerability and self-control, you're going to find that you're going to have the environments that you've been wanting your whole life, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are. So once again, thanks for joining me. Consider the questions, consider the tools you have, and I'll see you back here again.